back to Cinema Corner. I'm Blake, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Josh and Alex.
And today we are reviewing Marvel's newest movie, Captain America: Brave New World. It's the first of 3 this year, so we're here to talk about it. Who wants to go first?
Josh seems like he has a lot to get off his chest.
Yes.
Well, I mean, first off, I think we should talk about the fact that's not the right title for this movie. This is actually just an Incredible Hulk 2. This was not a Captain America film. This was some reason a sequel to a fucking 2008 film that everybody just does not give two shits about. So for like the 30 people in this world that liked that movie, like actually liked it and not just fucking simp over the few good action scenes that they saw on TikTok, they're the ones that are happy about this film. Otherwise, everybody else should realize, holy shit, did they just totally say fuck you to Anthony Mackie about him finally getting a solo film. And once again, we're getting shitty ass Hulk plot character developments in another film instead of Hulk just getting his own goddamn solo film in the MCU. I'm so sick and tired of shitty Hulk characters and the Hulk himself taking away the entire fucking film for other characters so that way Marvel can put in shitty character development for the Hulk. And I don't know why they are going down the path of making the MCU Hulk the same Hulk from 2008. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work from even when he first made his appearance in Avengers to now. Why are we doing this? And why are we also keeping the same cast too from that film to be the main villain in this film? So once again, not a fucking Captain America film. This is Hulk's villain, okay, from his film apparently. That's canon now, for sure, 100%. And also, why was there so much effort into a goddamn 82-year-old Harrison Ford Thaddeus Ross? All the effort for character arcs, development, the plot, the stories, the side characters, or for Thaddeus Ross instead of Sam Wilson. What was the point of the Winter Soldier and Falcon show if you were just gonna fucking fuck us over like this after waiting this long for this film? Sam Wilson was yet again a side character. Brother even lost his cool suit halfway throughout the film for some reason. Why did his white suit go away? Why did it just go back to just being... No, stop. Because that's just fucking Steve's suit with just the little modifications to it. You throw out this amazing suit at the end of the show, and then you replace it with fucking nanotech bullshit helmet, by the way, in this film, okay? That just looked awful every single time. It's looked awful on everybody, okay? The only time it's ever looked good and will ever look good is Iron Man. Because that's the only time he actually tried, because it's Robert Downey Jr. Can't dare make the King look bad. But everybody else, it looks awful. They have too tiny of heads or something. I don't know what's going on. But you get rid of the mask that we see at the end of the show. What? Yeah. Something's going on, okay? Because it looks like shit in every post-Endgame film. They just replaced every mask with CGI nanotech helmets. So not only did Sam lose his new kind of, I say, iconic suit that was also comic accurate throughout the film, just randomly goes away after basically the opening kind of seeing him landing, to then he becomes a side character. The only 2 moments that was actually endearing where it's like, oh shit, I forgot this is a Captain America film, is when Bucky shows up and he gives a great speech to him, and it's cool to see Bucky. So that was the only scene there. And then the very fucking end of the film, when he has an amazing speech about pressure. Now, did Sam have any pressure during this whole film? No, man. The pressure was all on Thaddeus Ross to win over his daughter, because who gives a fuck about the daughter from 2008, dude? Oh my god, bro, she makes it appear as the same actress. Holy shit. Who cares? And then you bring back the fucking nerdy dork from 2008 too. Once again, it takes a lot of effort to make a nerdy, dorky villain actually good. Fucking DC's been struggling for years with the Riddler. That's the first time recently in the Batman that we actually had a good, nerdy, dork villain. And you're gonna bring the same dude back, a fucking comedian, to play the villain? Like, no, it didn't work. It was so ass. The reviews were 100% accurate on this film. In fact, they should have been harsher on it. This wasn't a Captain America film. It just threw everything away that, and this is coming from someone that I'm one of the few people that actually liked the show, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Actually liked it. And I thought it did a great job tackling the problems that a Sam Wilson Captain America would be. And you threw that all out the window and just said, fuck it, we're going to cast a 66-year-old fucking guy to play another action villain, and you're going to cast an 82-year-old as the main character, and then you're not even going to fucking kill him off in the end. Harrison Ford's going to die before we ever hear about Thaddeus Ross again. He's 82, bro. He's 82. 82 years old, man. I'm surprised they even allowed him to do a shirtless scene at the end when he came out of the Hulk, because, oh my god, dude. He's got that fucking Elon Musk body, but at least he's 82. Oh, like, it's ridiculous. It's so stupid. This film was shit. CGI looked like shit. The action scenes were shit. They did Anthony Mackie so bad. It's ridiculous. You know, it's to the point where you can maybe make that argument of like Disney was scared to have another black lead because they were just so soft and weak with this film that even in his own film, he's not the main character again. So, fuck this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that the just unbelievable force of nanotech for every suit ever is getting so annoying. Every single mask has to be nanotech. Which I get that Anthony Mackie did come out and say that he didn't like at the end of Captain America, or Falcon and Winter Soldier, that he didn't like the kind of mask he had on. He was like, it was just really hot and hard for him to move around. We could have workshopped something rather than just being like, oh, we'll just make a nanotech then so we can just be lazy and throw up and it'll look really just poorly made and stupid every time you take it on and off. So
or
that
just
was annoying.
Keep the goggles, you know.
Right, like we don't need to put the
look
mask
at the beginning
on.
Was fine, you know.
Yeah, it's just the nanotech needs to be stopped. We need to stop. Everything doesn't need to be nanotech for the mask, so we can just CGI it. Every now and then, everybody, you can, be actors. You can suck it up and do your job and be a little uncomfortable and have something a little hot. I didn't hear Robert Pattinson, complaining about his Batman suit, which was, actually wearing it the whole time. And we got that sick picture he even took. He was like, when he didn't know if he was going to get the job or not in the bathroom. Where he's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to wear this again, so I'm going to just at least sneak a pic of it so I have that. Like, yeah, maybe do your job a little bit, a little discomfort. You can wear a mask for a couple hours to film something. But yeah, that for sure really just pissed me off that once again at the end when he lands and it's just nanotech. It's like, oh, okay, we're just lazy. And that's not where it ended. There was definitely plenty of scenes where I'm someone who I feel like I don't get overly upset with, like, poor CGI in the background of stuff. Like, for the most part, I'm like, it's whatever. Like, people complain about it before, and I'm like, I don't notice it all that much. Like, I'm fine with it. This was one of them where I was like, okay, Marvel, we can't even get any kind of real background shots of anything. Like, the amount of green screen backgrounds of stuff, like the cherry blossoms at the end and stuff like that.
Yeah, the fake cars.
Yeah.
Even.
I'm like, why? Why do we need? We can't go to a location for anything. Everything has to be shot in Atlanta with a green screen or a blue screen, I guess, really now is what Marvel does. Like, that was getting annoying for me too. But overall, I mean, like you said, this definitely was, I personally feel Anthony Mackie in this Captain America did get screwed over. This does definitely not feel fully like a Captain America, but I think Anthony Mackie absolutely killed it in this role. Like, he is my Captain America for sure now, and I really hope he does get to kind of lead a new Avengers and we see him be at the front of both, Secret Invasions and everything, or Secret Wars and everything. Because I think he killed it in this role again. Like you mentioned, his speech at the end with pressure. I'm also one of those people, I think his Falcon and Winter Soldier speech at the end of that show, like some people were kind of like attacking it. I thought it was great. Like I think he does a great job of representing, and like even Bucky tells him about it. Like he carries that mantle very well. Of like his job is to inspire people as well. It's not just always to like just go in there and fight everything. Like I think his speeches and everything are phenomenal, and they're great delivery by him. So yeah, I think one of the things for sure to walk away from this movie is Anthony Mackie is for sure killing it as Captain America, and I definitely hope he gets a bigger role. And we kind of got, the leader kind of mentioning about it, Sam being like, oh, you're like a variable, like you're tough for me to kind of like, he's a tough variable, like that kind of thing. And I hope we kind of see that in Secret Wars, that he has a big factor of it because he is so like just following his gut, whatever it is. And that kind of is like that Steve Rogers in him of like, he's going to do what he thinks is right, regardless of what other people think. So I hope he continues, but he definitely is a big takeaway for this movie. I thought the action scenes were really good too. His fighting scenes, like the beginning, there was a lot of stuff in it that like you can tell that it was kind of Steve Rogers-esque, his fighting stuff. And I just thought the way he was handling the shield and everything was really good. And some of the thing that Red Wing was doing, I thought was really sick too. Red Wing, I thought was a dope little machine in this one. So like when he was flying, the shield blocking for him while he was flying, that was sick. There's a bunch of stuff like that. So I thought some of the upgrades to his suit and stuff were pretty cool, that they kind of like, not just in terms of like the look of it, but also just like the functionality of his entire kit was like really cool. But yeah, I agree with you that this does feel heavily like a Incredible Hulk 2 sequel without the Hulk for some reason. But I think when Anthony Mackie was in this movie, which is weird to say about his movie, when he was in it, he killed it.
Yep.
But I thought the action scenes were great. And I think something this did that I personally feel like I haven't seen that I can really like think about in a while. I think Godzilla and Kong, one of them recently kind of had it a little bit. But Transformers really killed this. The subtle product placement of vehicles, I haven't seen it killed like this in a long time. Bro, some of the stuff they were doing, I was like, Michael Bay would be proud. Get your money. The shots they were doing of his truck, the great scene of him opening the front trunk of just the Captain America shield is in the trunk of the front of the car for some reason. Beautiful, dude. Beautiful. When whatever his name, Giancarlo Esposito's character, who I don't even know his name because what was the point of him really? When he blew up the truck, like that truck pulling up and everything, that GMC, they got their money's worth, bro. It's been a while since I've seen good product placement like that for vehicles. So I got to give props for that, too.
That's valid.
Hot take.
Alex,
I enjoyed this film. I gotta just say, I enjoyed the film, man. Like, I saw all the reviews for it. I'm hearing you out. I'm hearing some of the stuff. I agree, it's not perfect by any means. There's certain stuff that you just think about and you're like, oh my god, why did they decide to do this? Mainly, make Captain America more of like a secondary character. Now, overall, I feel like he still had the most screen time. It just felt like he didn't because of like the sequencing of things, if that makes sense. It's like you have him, he shows up, gone, then you're like, okay, now we're like focusing on the leader, then on Ross, and then he kind of comes back. So it's very like, it jumps back and forth. I think overall, I feel like he still had the most screen time, probably tied or close to with Harrison Ford. I guess he'd technically be the antagonist, like the physical antagonist versus the leaders, like the mental antagonist behind everything. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed the film, dude. Like that, like from the opening sequence of him going through that compound in Mexico, it was just great. And like the way he uses it, he definitely feels like a Steve Rogers-esque, but he has his Sam Wilson flair to it, like using the wings. Like they kind of bend more too. So like before they were more like very much more rigid, and now because of like the Wakandan tech, he can actually kind of like use them more as like shields on top of the shield. He can reflect. He uses it much more intuitively, I guess. And then I enjoyed like the whole like fight between him and Red Hulk. I mean, yeah, the CGI wasn't anything special, but honestly, I had fun with it. And so all the reviews that were saying like it's like a 4 or like a 40% or whatever, I'm like, That's kind of harsh. I mean, yeah, is it not like Captain America, like full on? No, but neither was Captain America Civil War, you know? So it's like there hasn't been a full on Cap movie since Winter Soldier, and that came out what, 2014? So it's like it's been mainly Captain America with someone else. It was Avengers 2.5. So it's like at this point Steve didn't get his full 3 movies technically either. So that's just kind of my thought process. I went in with low expectations. They exceeded those low expectations, so I felt like I got my money's worth there. That was just my thought process through it.
That's valid. That's valid. Because I agree. I definitely don't think I didn't. I definitely think some of the reviews have been harsher. I agree with you. I do still enjoy this film. I just definitely think it wasn't without its flaws, which obviously no movie is going to be. I think another big one that I just really need to touch on is whatever his name, Joaquin Torres, the new Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kill him, recast him, do something. He sucks so bad. I could not dislike a character any more than him. All of his lines I thought were horrible. Just that character sucks. I really think that they should have killed him in the fight scene just to, one, have somebody die, and two, just get him out of here. Because, man, that kid sucks. That Falcon is so bad. Cannot stand that kid.
I think the main issue with him is, the overall issue with everything when it comes around Sam in this film is the only time that we've seen these characters and him interact with these guys is from the show, which was limited interaction, the majority of the chemistry between him and Bucky. And so then when you go into this movie and you try to force basically like a Steve Rogers and Bucky Winter Soldier movie of how there's your inner circle is totally betrayed. I mean, this was just a fucking shitty copy and paste from that film of everything's going crazy, bro, spy after that, all this bullshit. It doesn't work because there's been no chemistry built between any of these characters. Like, even with Sam and the fucking security guard for Thaddeus Ross. I just, there's so many, just any interactions, I just didn't give a shit at all. It doesn't work. His jokes, even with, which his name is Danny, his new Falcon, the reason why those really didn't land as much is because they obviously were trying to force it to be like, hey, look, they already got this bond. It takes time to develop that. I mean, it took many movies and shows to get that kind of comedic timing with Bucky, even. Okay? So it just, that's why I think why I'm so harsh in this film is you just fucked over so much when it comes around Sam and his character arc for Captain America to get a quick gain for fucking Incredible Hulk 2. Like, what? I mean, why was this the point? I mean, you could have done so many different ways to have still Thaddeus Ross involved. Just dial it down by like 60%, man. It just does not work. And that, I also totally agree with you guys. The best parts of this movie is when Sam is in the main shot and in the main point. Even his interactions with Isaiah Bradley were still great. I think it was cool that he's in this film. Pretty cool. But we still saw kind of barely anything of him and was just used for Thaddeus Ross's development. And it's like, okay, I don't fucking care. And the fight scenes were awesome. I think it's really cool. I think this is the first time where I've seen, because it seems like it's really getting annoying, honestly, with a lot of the Avengers and upcoming cast, that they're just getting these quick upgrades. And it's like, it's Wakandan tech. This is the first time that I was like, okay, the Wakandan tech's pretty cool here. Loved his wings. And it actually helps the fact that he's not a super soldier. And actually seeing his experience as a human help in his fights pretty dope. So that was the plus side of the movie. But everything else, it's just, I think you guys got to be harsher on that. It's so bad on it. And it hurts my interest for the future.
No, I mean, I think that is understandable. Like, why was Red Hulk such a massive part of this in the Gamma stuff when we know it's not going to amount to anything anytime soon? It's like, why should I care that much?
Like
I will say
16
one
years
thing.
from now.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, when we get our 18th Thaddeus Ross, maybe it'll be in something that matters. But hopefully Liv Tyler will at least still be in that one, because that'll be crazy. But anyways, I think one thing with this is the leader. I think his character and his look, I thought was really good though. Like I liked his whole predictability thing and things he was saying. I thought was interesting, and I hope he has a bigger part moving forward. Somehow using, they can use his brain in the whole Secret Wars kind of stuff. But I've seen some stuff, which maybe this is just the weird TikTok side of things that I've been seeing of people hating on his look and like, oh, he's not comic accurate. It's like, bro, shut up. Some people you just want to complain about the small. They put MODOK, and everyone was like, he looks awful because they made him comic accurate where he's going to look funky. And obviously, you make that comic book live action, it's going to look weird. Everyone's like, he looks so stupid. Why would they do that? So then with the leader, they toned down his exaggerated head size and all that. And I saw stuff on TikTok being like, why does he look like that? It's like, shut up. You're so annoying. You hated MODOK when they made him comic accurate. Now you're going to hate him because he's not comic accurate. Like, I thought he looked really good. And I enjoyed the leader side of it. Like you said, if they would have toned down a little bit more the leader and Captain America kind of being like the main beef, I would have definitely appreciated that a lot. Obviously it wouldn't fit with the whole storyline of, it makes sense, leader's obviously more of a Hulk villain, which both of those are Hulk villains, and Hulk wasn't in the movie, whatever. But I enjoyed the leader, and I hope he does have some part of the future of the MCU kind of helping them with everything going on. But yeah, I will also agree that the security guard, while she's an ex-Black Widow, man, she just was nothing. There was
no point in having her, and there was a lot of controversy for casting her, and honestly, she wasn't really, like, you could have plopped anyone else in there.
Yep.
Like,
nothing special.
Minor character, it was kind of useless there.
Giancarlo Esposito was in the exact same seat, if you ask me, though. Why did we use a character or an actor of his talent for such a whatever side villain that, again, is not going to amount to anything? We're not going to see him anytime. Obviously, we know what the MCU future is looking like with everything, the Secret Wars and the...
Isn't he like the head of the Serpent Society, though?
Yeah, alleged. You're going to tell me we're going to see him in the next 4 years? And you're going to tell me you confidently we will see him?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
he's
that.
66.
I'm just
saying.
He's
amazing, and he's 66. Why are you casting him for such an action?
Yeah, why would you cast him for something that we're not going to see again? It's so stupid to me. Yeah, I just think that, some of the hate on... I think some of the hate is unjustified for some people just absolutely bombing this movie. I think there was still a lot of strong things in it with Sam. But yeah, I just really need to get out there. What little bit I've seen of people talking about the characters on the leader, like, shut up, bro. You're so annoying.
I agree with you too. I actually liked the design that they went with. I would say if I had to make minor changes, just make the head just a tiny bit bigger, like, say it's here, just a tiny bit, just look a little bit, and then maybe add like a more of a goatee to kind of give it that little look. Other than that, everything else was good. I liked that, like, one of his eyes was like green and the other one was like almost just completely engulfed in gamma, so that one was just gone. And I liked like his performance for it. Like, he seemed very like meticulous with the way he spoke, with everything that he wanted to do, which goes along with the character and how he can see probabilities and stuff like that. I thought there could have been an amazing story there that you could have involved these characters if you wanted to, but you took it to a point where it's like it felt more of like their story rather than a Captain America story. And if you could have just reworked that and made it still be more of like a Sam Wilson story with them in it, I feel like that could have been better. Like, if you really wanted to use these characters, fine, but there was a different approach to it. I feel like there could have been a different entry point, and this could have been a hell of a lot better. But,
Well, is there any quick thoughts before we do a quick little mention of the end credits scene and then give our ratings? Is there anything else anybody wants to get in real quick?
Yeah, my final just quick rant is I just think we just need to emphasize, this is a good plot. If it was a Hulk movie, easily could have worked. Otherwise, I think Samuel Stern should not have been in the film at all, and it should have been Captain America, Sam Wilson trying to gain basically the world's trust of becoming that leader because he's replacing Steve, which continues from the show, and it should have been just a straight beef between him and Thaddeus Ross. And then that should have been revealed that Thaddeus Ross has been taking these meds and turns into the Red Hulk. And then that's where the fight happens. You did that, the film would have been 2 times better. having Stearns in there, his scenes with Sam were so awkward and bad because there was no point for either one of them to really hate each other, and they weren't each other's villains. It was Thaddeus Ross. So I just want to emphasize just how stupid the plot of this film was.
Yeah, I also, you mentioning that just kind of makes me touch on something you talked about earlier of the whole Bucky and Captain America, Sam Wilson's kind of relationship. It also just made me realize how stupid it is now, thinking about the fact the end of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was the two of them coming together to work on the boat, and like those two being together down in Louisiana, like as a sense of family. Mm-hmm. And then within a 3-month span, we're about to get Captain America 4, obviously starring Sam Wilson, and Thunderbolts, which seems like Yelena is one of the main leads, but it seems like Bucky is probably lead number 2. And we saw Bucky in this movie for roughly 2 minutes, and we're kind of expecting not to see Sam Wilson in the Thunderbolts. Kind of just made me realize, like, wait, we just went a whole show of those two growing together, and at the end they're like a family. And in a 2-month span, they're each being in movies, basically leading 2 different movies, and they're both not going to have any influence on the other one's movie or be in the other one.
Was it 2 months though?
So,
I feel like there was like a good gap between the end.
No, I mean in terms of like the actual movies coming out. Like I think there is like a year gap between them in like the MCU universe. I'm just saying in our real world, this is coming out now, and Thunderbolts is 3 months away.
May
in terms of 3 months of they're gonna lead 2 different movies, and they're each gonna have very very little influence in each other's movie. It's like, what was the whole point of their growing and coming together at the end like a family, and they're not even together like at all. Yeah, it just is the classic what we did with Steve Rogers and Bucky, where we made a whole big thing about Steve going to save Bucky, and then Bucky comes back, and we saw like no interaction between the two of them after we saw a tiny bit in Civil War, not even a whole lot really of those two together. And then after that, it was like on a battlefield, like, oh, hey, Buck, that was it. Like, he fought the entire Winter Soldier movie was him, like, I have to get my friend back. Like, that's my brother. Like, I got to get him. And then since then, the MCU is like, yeah, you two are just going to be like strangers in the night passing. Just be like, oh, hey, man, wow, remember? All right, cool. I'm going to do my own thing. You do your own thing. I don't actually, rely on you in any way now that I got you back. It's not like he leaned on Bucky or had Bucky as his right-hand man. He was just like, all right, man, yeah, I'm glad I got you back. All right, you figure out this whole new world. I'm going to do my own thing. And at the end of it, this was the other thing I forgot that I had to mention. Steve Rogers, presumed dead based on their conversation to each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
What? That's it? Steve Rogers, Captain America, Chris Evans, the massive impact he had on the MCU. We don't even get a for sure death still. What are we doing? Why is it so hard to confirm his death and let us all have that of a guy who carried the franchise? We can't even get the official acknowledgement this guy's actually dead. Maybe he should be more of a diva like Robert Downey Jr. and he'd get an official death. I don't know. Maybe Chris Evans is actually a real good person and Robert Downey Jr. is just a piece of shit and he actually had to get forced to have all that stuff because Robert Downey Jr. and everyone needs to suck him off and give him attention. Maybe Chris Evans just needs to do that more. Maybe that's what he needs to do, is he just needs to be a huge diva and then he will actually get the official death that he deserves in the MCU.
One final thing, and I promise I'm done. Okay? Totally agree with that point. How about the fact that we have a film about Inner Circle being compromised when it comes to the government, and Sharon Carter's not in the film?
In this conversation, my rating for this movie is dressed.
So I just want to say,
really think about it.
I think everybody forgot.
I'm getting heated.
Sharon Carter's not in this film. Big part of the show because we wanted to do Incredible Hulk. Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, I didn't.
So anyways, like I mentioned, post-credit scene. Any thoughts on that before we give our rating?
My thought is womp womp. Sucked ass.
Alex, thoughts?
I mean, it's cool that he has that like knowledge, of like other universes, other Earths, having to fight other versions of yourselves. I feel like that's cool.
But how do you feel as a viewer when you saw that post-credit scene?
Well, I mean, I would have preferred it not being like all the way at the very, 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 very end. I would have preferred it like immediately after, like the.
What are your thoughts when you saw that post-credit scene and you sat there and you walked out And for the
Uh-huh.
80th time in a row, we got a very vague multiverse reference. Nothing,
Uh-huh.
didn't even mention the word Doom. We're still not even saying what it is.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts that you sat there and all it was him saying for the forward of the MCU, all he said is, you can't protect your world. Others are coming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just wanted it to happen already. Like, damn, I was like, well, gotta wait because Thunderbolt is next. We know that's not gonna happen. Fantastic Four, it's their own solo thing, so they might tease something again at the very end of that one. So if there's anything, it'll be another tease. Nothing actually like happening. And then I think it would be Doomsday, right? After that.
I believe
Yeah.
so. I believe that is the next movie.
Cool. Yeah. So it's just a bunch of little teasers with no actual like, I don't know. At least give me something. Like give me like a little half face of Doom, or show me like the incursion happening or something approaching. Anything better than just like some random person saying that. I mean, not a random person, but like just
the
someone
vagueness
saying
of it, though.
yeah.
It's
Just
coming.
like
They
the
are
vagueness
coming.
of it. Yeah, I was like, who's they? Like, can you show them? Can you say that they are coming and then cut to someone coming? Well, pause. But you know what I mean?
Huh?
You know
Yeah,
what
I mean,
I
at
mean?
least Thanos. We saw Thanos. We heard Thanos' name was, on the way.
Literally, first fucking movie, you see him put his hand on his fucking chair, turn around, you see his face. First movie. Second movie, you see him grab the gauntlet. Now, that doesn't really make much sense, but you still saw him, right? So it's like, okay, so we know that he's going to be coming eventually.
Yeah.
And then he arrives.
Yeah. Which I will
And
say, part of it, I was kind of thinking about that after, and then I was like, okay, maybe part of this did get messed up with the whole Jonathan Majors thing, because obviously
probably.
we saw in Ant-Man 3 that they were officially giving us Kang, and it was trying to push, and same with Loki, we were kind of actually getting Kang, and they were starting to build up Kang, and then with that whole thing, I did kind of think about that. I was like, okay, maybe they kind of had to step back because they already had plans of Kang's involvement, and obviously they had to change it because we had hit the panic button 2 seconds after hearing something that came out that he didn't actually do. But we just had to fire him and get away from him. Real fair for him and his future, but whatever.
Did you see that he's supposed to come back, but potentially?
I hope he doesn't. If I was him, if you want me back, bro, I'm hitting him with that. What Johnny Depp said about Pirates of the Caribbean, where he's like, I need like $1 billion and like 10 goats or some shit like that. If I'm Jonathan Majors, that's what I'm saying to Disney and that whole world. Like, you want me back, bro? You better. I need that Robert Downey Jr. ×2 kind of money. Okay, like nah. That's ridiculous what you did to me. So yeah, man. What are our rankings? Let's just do rankings.
Josh?
Listen, my rating should be lower, and the only reason I'm not rating it lower is out of respect to Anthony Mackie getting fucking screwed in this film. Also, another final note. I was looking at the budget of the film. This film also barely had a bigger budget than the show, by the way. The Falcon Winter Soldier had a $150 million budget. This has 180, so it's being reported. And we know that 80 mil of that is taken up by just Harrison fucking Ford. Love you, Harrison. Hate that this film's making me not like you right now. Not your fault. Get the bag, bud. But my rating's a 4.4 out of 10. We'll never rewatch this film.
That's crazy. I definitely will rewatch this film for sure. My ranking has changed through this conversation, and as I realize, this conversation could go a whole lot longer because there are quite a few things I'm now upset about with it. So my ranking going into this video to now has changed. But like you said, Anthony Mackie, it's not your fault. Okay, it's not your fault. My new ranking, this is kind of changing a little bit, but I'm gonna say this is now like a 5.5 for me. It was higher, but after realizing some of the major plot holes and issues that I have with it that annoyed me, I think 5.5 is fair. And like I said, I probably will rewatch this when it hits Disney Plus in a few months. I'll probably rewatch this movie for sure.
Okay, well, I was gonna stay steadfast and say my original score.
Yeah,
but I was talked down a few notches.
Mm-hmm.
Still pretty high though. So let me just preface that by saying that I'm gonna give it a 6.9. If you care to know what my original score was, it was a 7.4. That's what I had it at. But yeah, it went down just a few ticks. But yeah, I enjoyed it, dude. I left and I was like immediately I texted Blake because I'm like I feel like he enjoyed it more than you did, obviously based off of your text from that night. So I was like, I'm gonna just say it. I fucking enjoyed the film. Like I went in, I was entertained. I enjoyed Anthony Mackie. Did he get screwed over a bit? Yeah, for sure. Still enjoyed it. Still will probably rewatch it. That's just my.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna rewatch it. Yeah, my ranking definitely dropped, but yeah, that's gonna do it for Falcon and Winter Soldier. Not even Falcon and Winter Soldier. Captain America: Brave New World. That's what it is.
Incredible Hulk 2.
Incredible Hulk 2. Last time we saw a good Incredible Hulk 2, which is kind of crazy. But as always, let us know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you guys in the next one.